Are you on? No. Hey. We're live. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy half hour. Happy hour half. We've got a special guest today, good friend, Alecia. She is going to be joining us here any second. Hi, Sarah. Let's see. We'll just wait for her to join here. Anyways, hope everybody is surviving and doing well out there. We at the winery are super busy in the vineyard and really busy with all of our emailing. And we've got a really cool thing coming out this Monday to help kind of support the local, as in local Melville to all the restaurants in the LA area, Santa Barbara area. They all really need our help right now. So if you're on the mailing list, awesome. And if not, get on the mailing list and we'll keep you abreast of everything that's happening at the winery. Thanks for all you guys supporting us too through this time with your orders at the winery. It's been super helpful and much appreciated. We just want to say thank you because, with all of the other channels that we're normally using as far as the wholesale market and also, all the restaurants and the wine merchants out there, just things are tough, right? And it's tough for them as well. Hey, Wendy. And so any support that you guys can give is much appreciated, whether it be, Melville Winery or your favorite winery, just reach out and give them some support because we could all use it. Jeffrey. So, hold on. I thought, let's see. We've got some wine open here and, I've got some Chardonnay just because it's been quite warm out this past week. And today with, all this wind, it's just a nice refreshing to have. Actually, I dipped into the cellar a little bit and grabbed some 03 Melville Chardonnay, which is a treat for me because, library wine, there's not much of it left. And it's just fun to kind of look back and check in on stuff that's been aging perfectly for, in this case, 17 years. It's also good to remember kind of the decisions that we were making back then and kind of how it is applicable now. And we've got gas right now. So that was pretty good for buying time, wasn't it, Logan? Nothing. So I think she's arriving. Alecia!
Hi, babe. I figured it out.
How you doing?
I was trying to pat my head and rub my stomach at the same time.
Yeah. Atta girl. 2012, huh?
Yeah. Thanks to my friend Chad.
Wait, this isn't the first wine you've had today, is it?
No, what time is it? It's 5:30.
Well, thanks for joining. I'm super stoked that you are here. We've got a lot of...
Thank you for having me.
Totally.
Which glass should I use?
The one on your left.
This one?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a study in esters and aromatic compounds and how the vessel changes the way you appreciate and experience the vine.
Yeah, isn't it crazy though how the glassware really has a profound effect on the exact same wine? You put it in 3 or 4 different glass types and it changes the wine.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
I have one glass that I will do all my blending trials with. But then you think about all the wine tasters and critics that are tasting out of their very special glass, and you just wonder how that changes what you thought about your wine and then what they think about your wine.
Totally.
All right, I might just do this. I'm just aerating. I'm just getting some oxygen.
So So for those of you that don't know, I want to give you a proper introduction because most people know you as Pink, and I don't know you as Pink. I know you as Alecia. I know you as a farmer. I know you as a passionate wine lover. I know you as a very generous, kind, loving, stubborn human being that I love.
Mm.
And I don't know if, most people out there know how dedicated you are to your craft as a winemaker and a wine grower. And I'd love you to just kind of maybe explain like what it is that you love so much about farming and how it's related to winemaking. Like, why do you love it so much?
This is really, really hard to put into words. I've tried many, many times. I think, you know, I've been Pink all my life, and I have, they say 10,000 hours and you've mastered your craft. I've mastered my craft, but I'm always trying to be better, right? But it's so open and public and loud, and there's so much noise involved in all of that. And so when I came to the vineyard and learned, the first thing I learned was to grab a pair of shears and start pruning, because I wanted to learn the cyclical process. I wanted to start from the ground up. I wanted to do it, a lot of it myself, because someone named Chad Melville told me once that you can't let somebody else do a thing until you can teach it to them. And I started pruning, and I was surrounded by nature and beauty and quiet, and I fell in love. And honestly, before that though, I fell in love with farmers and people that would talk about growing grapes and sap flow and the energy and the chi and the way that you have to pay attention. And I think that's why I fell in love with wine, is not because it makes you feel happy, but because it makes you pay attention. We go about our lives, we go about our business, and we're not paying attention. And when I started studying wine, and I had to be able to tell the difference between fresh mint and spearmint, or mushroom and or lemon and lime, and how do you put that into words, and you just start paying attention more. You're paying attention to the seasons. You're paying attention to what stage of nature we're in. You're paying
Yeah.
attention to the food that's on your plate in front of you. You're paying attention to, oh, somebody gave me a bottle of wine, but why does that person make wine? And is that person as passionate as I am? And what's their story? And how did they start? And there's just, once you learn one thing, once you uncover, pick up a rock, you've uncovered 800 more questions,
Totally.
800 more reasons to pick up another rock and dig deeper. So that's why, in a nutshell.
I think that, yeah, I think that I meant to actually add that to the list of attributes that you carry that I respect so much, and that is you're very aware, you're very conscientious. And I think that that kind of goes on to what you're saying about farming, right? Because I think that if you really are going to be a good farmer, a good wine grower, you're completely aware and you're in tune to like what Mother Nature is doing. It's not just the time that you're at work,
Yeah.
you're always aware of like the moon phase, like what's the weather like tomorrow, and like you just constantly aware, right? And a lot of people, live their lives, and that's okay, but just they're not aware. Maybe it's a gene of some sort. I don't know, but it's like the winemakers that I respect, the wine growers that I respect the most. What up, Gary?
What's up, bud?
He needed
are
some attention.
are people who really do pay attention to all that stuff. But you're from uh, Pennsylvania. You're from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. How did you ever, how did the farming bug bite you?
Well, I mean, Doylestown is pretty rural. It's Pennsylvania, outside of the major cities. While the cities are awesome, but Pennsylvania is the state of covered bridges, and I remember my brother growing up would make charcoal drawings of covered bridges, and my neighbor across the street, Mrs. Reed, was my best friend. She was this 85-year-old lady that ran this little farm by herself, and I would go over every day after school and help her clean out her chicken coop and feed her goats and collect the eggs. And And that's how I fell in love with animals and being an animal rights activist and all of that. So my life has been a series of stumbling into things that, that I look at as blessings and opportunities, and I just like to be awake to them. I like to see them when they're in front of me. And I don't know. It's just, there, Carrie and I joke, Carrie and I have been together for 18 years, and I always laugh, and I'm like, what if 18 years ago I came up to you in Vegas with my blue hair and was like, hey, want to be a farmer? He would have been like, what, dude? You
Totally.
just don't know. I mean, I started drinking wine because my manager and my agent and my um, tour manager had really great taste in wine, and they had a bankroll that I didn't.
Yeah.
And so they were buying wines that I didn't even know existed. I thought wine was punishment at Hanukkah. I mean, you don't know until you know. This
That's
is
funny.
delicious. Thank you.
Well, I gotta say, you're welcome. Thank you. I gotta say that when we first met, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago. I'm not really sure, but uh, you know, meeting you out and in the vineyard. First, admittedly, I mean, I kind of knew who you were, but I didn't know really like a
I sound
song.
nothing like the Grateful Dead. It's okay.
That's what I was trying to get at. Thank you. But I was like, oh, Carrie Hart, man, that guy is so cool. Love hanging out with him. Anyways, I get out there and you're pruning, right? And you're like in your overalls, right? Not coveralls, but overalls with no hat and no sunblock on, right? And you're down there on your knees in the dirt pruning. And I was like, dude, that's not good, you know? And you're like, what? And you're like sweating and whatever. And then sure enough, whatever, 2 days later, you send me a picture of your skin that was bright red. And I just thought, man, like, I love that because she's A, digging in, and B, she's just learning, and she's learning by trial, fire, right? You've learned
Yeah.
now you wear a big hat, right? You wear a long sleeve shirt, and
I put sunscreen right on the upper part of my butt for when
that's right.
for leaning over. My butt's hanging out of my jeans. Yeah.
But this is also one of the things that I respect about you so much is that you get in it. You don't just let something go. Like if you're gonna do something, you do it and you do it with your whole heart. Like
Yeah.
you are the winemaker. Like you are making the decisions, and you're out there pruning and you're picking and you're punching down and you're pressing off. And I just love that about you. I think it's easy for people to discount what you do just because you're pink, but they may not realize that you are actually busting ass and working so hard to grow that wine and
Yeah.
to produce that wine in barrel.
Well, it's natural for people to think that, people don't know, but I think I the people that I love, Confucius says, wherever you go, go with all your heart. And then I add on dot dot or don't fucking go at all. And you know, we have this one life, and I always said I want to make all the mistakes I can make so that my daughter has a chance to grow up here and do it right. And I feel the same way about you. That's how we became such good friends. You've been so open and helpful to me. And, ours is a community where people just throw open their doors. Anything you want to know, come over, barrel taste. You want to learn about clones? Let's do this. Or I'll meet you in the vineyard. Let's take a walk. Anything you want to know. So no one really treated me like the circus that came to town. But there's just so much to do. Why not do it yourself? And also, I met Allison through you. And Allison is my partner and a badass mama herself. And we're just two moms now that run this whole thing. And
Yeah,
she's a badass in her own right. And
for sure.
I try to just bring women together and make the best wine that we can. And our place is magical. It's magical. Where we live is magical.
It totally is. And I just want to add one thing since you mentioned your kids and you mentioned Willow. Like I remember one time you told me, this is before Jameson came along, but you were like so just married to the idea of making your land as healthy and beautiful as possible and make the best wine that you possibly could. so that you could hand it off to
Mm-hmm.
Willow.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said, and again, this is before Jameson, but you said, I can't give her my voice. I want to give her this place. And I've always remembered that.
Yeah.
I think that's such a rad way to look at the kind of, your next generation,
Mm-hmm.
like you're doing something so special for your children that it's admirable. I love that.
That's my dream. She'll, we'll see. I think she was 5 and sweet when I said that. Now she's 8 and can't be bothered. She's been sending me Zillow listings of condos in Anaheim, so I don't know. She wants to live near Disneyland.
Well, I've got Logan right across from me, and
Hi, Logan.
Hi.
Come here, Logan. Say hi.
No.
She's almost 16, and I keep telling her that she's gonna be winemaker one day, and she's always just like, no, Dad, no, Dad. But
Yeah, I mean, that's the dream. You see all these movies, right? And like Bottle Shock and all these movies, and they're all just fighting it out and making decisions together. But, who knows? I mean, look at you, Melville, right?
yep,
Family legacy. And here you
totally,
are. But at
totally.
first, when you were that age, there was no way.
No way. I mean, when I was her age, I was, all I cared about was who I was sitting next to in math class and where I was gonna go, down to the beach and party or something,
Yeah.
But you didn't hear that. Um,
No, because Lo's not interested in that.
So I think that, another thing another story I love, and this just reminded me of it, like when you mentioned me helping you out, and that's not the part that I want to focus on, but what you said to me, you said, Chad, what can I do to, pay you back, or what can I do to, return the favor? And I said nothing, and your reaction, do you remember what you did?
I told you you'll be the first person in the history of me that's ever helped me for free.
Yes, you did say that. But do you remember what you did?
I think I cried.
You cried.
I did. I cried.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyways,
I don't trust this dude.
I think that. What'd you say?
I said I don't trust this guy. No, we've had so much fun. That's the thing. First of all, we have 2 trips we've had to cancel so far. The next one is not getting canceled. But it's so important to have people support you in your endeavors, and
Yes.
you have to earn that respect in order to be helped. But you've been such a mentor to me. You've opened so many doors for me and took me seriously at a time when maybe everybody else was kind of still scratching their chin. And it's been really, really wonderful to be around you because I love how you think. I love how you look at nature. I love the people that you surround yourself with. I love that you're the first person in the cellar and the last to leave. And I love the wine you make. So it's lovely.
That's lovely.
I'm so grateful. I really am.
Well, it's mutual. I'm glad that we found each other. I mean, I really do consider you one of my closest, dearest friends, and I'm just glad it all worked out, right? Because everything happens for a reason.
So far.
So far. Yeah. And you're right. We have had a lot of good times together. As a matter of fact, I just remember the last time we had dinner at your place. I don't know, right before COVID, probably, and it was kind of, we met just to kind of have a margarita, but then it turned into like this 3-hour dinner, and we had, I don't know, 3 margaritas, and you're like, hey, let's open some wine. I'm like, okay, yeah, great idea. And you come back with that bottle of the wine. And I love, again, you're so generous, and you're like, let's pop this. And actually, you know what? You had a bottle of like 2000 Mouton Rothschild too.
Yeah.
Like, which one? And I was like, well, I don't know. And then you said both. It's so funny.
I'm convinced now every day is a special occasion. So every day that we're alive and healthy is a special occasion. So that's where I'm at.
Hi, Amy. Logan says hi too. So I gotta ask you. Actually, there's been a couple questions. One is, could you talk a little about your new releases? I guess you have new releases coming out this spring. Is that true?
We do, thank goodness. We were about to miss it, but we got our bottles and we were able to bottle. And I have my brand new Syrah just labeled just now.
Yeah. Is that 2018?
Yeah. No, this one's 2017 actually. Um, this was our
Give me a
first one. Yeah, so we were able to get it together, Allison and I, with the help of my husband.
Yeah, I
And
saw the box making photo that you
yeah,
took.
he's been very helpful. He's normally during harvest, he's my janitor because no one can clean a press better and faster than he can.
He's got that discipline, doesn't
He's
he?
got that moto discipline that like
Yeah.
nobody else. Hey.
This was the
Which,
first one. This is 15.
oh, my first release, Cab
Yeah.
Sauv. So yeah, we are the thing that have found to be pretty cool is that there's a lot of first time wine drinkers that just know me from music and weren't maybe so much into wine. And as fun as it's been for me to go down this rabbit hole and learn, it's fun to now bring those people along with me. And that's what I use Instagram for, is to just, here's what I'm doing, here's why. Because I love to learn. I love being a student. And everybody seems to love it too. So it's really fun. The issue has been because a lot of people know the music. There's a lot of people that want to try the wine, and I don't make that much wine. We don't
Yeah.
make that much. And we purposefully keep it small because it's two of us and we do all of it. And, we only grow so many grapes. So we're trying to figure out what's the best way to get our wine in as many people's hands as possible. And
Yeah.
we're still figuring it out. We've only had 3 releases. We're babies,
Why don't you just bottle everything in 375s? Then you can like double the production.
No.
Hey, Wendy had a question here. What's the significance of the name Two Wolves?
So Two Wolves is a parable. It's a Cherokee legend, and the story goes that a grandfather is speaking to his grandson, and he's speaking about the fact that there's a war going on inside of each of us, and the war is of two wolves. And one wolf is greed and anger and fear and jealousy, and the other wolf is love and forgiveness and inclusiveness and curiosity. And the grandson said, well, who wins? And the grandfather tells him, the one you feed. And to me, that saying has always been with me because from the first moment I heard it, it's about balance. And I've lived a life where at times I've been crazy out of balance and in bad places. And I've clawed my way back from that. And I think the same thing happens inside of a bottle or in a vineyard. Balance is key, right? It's everything.
It is everything.
It's everything to me. And that's the way we
even
try
like
to live our life and make our wine. And that's why we call it
even balanced food, balanced,
Mhm.
exercise, sleep, balance, like everything. It's just amazing how that theme is so important. I think the older you get, the more you realize how important it is to have that balance. And everybody's definition is a little bit different,
Yeah.
But
And the balance between coffee and wine time.
yes,
And it changes. Sometimes it's 9 a.m. Sometimes it's 5 p.m.
for wine. What well, here's another cool question. Biggest lesson you've learned making wine. Is there one?
Patience.
Patience is big.
Patience. I still don't have it, but at least with making wine, I have no choice.
Yeah.
You have to, and flexibility, I think, too, when it comes to farming. There's nothing you can do that's going to triumph Mother Nature and what she wants. And I've learned, because the thing that's great about Allison and I is I know enough to be dangerous. I took WeSet and all that, but I don't have a degree in anything except life. But Allison, she went to school. She knows her shit, and she knows science and numbers. And for me, I came in and I was like, well, I want to do this, and I want to do this year, and I want to do this year. She's like, that's just by the numbers. It's not possible. Like, you can't ferment 5 clusters. I'm like, all right. So It's a good relationship between the two of us because she knows the rules and I like to break them.
Yeah, totally. I would say also, and maybe not winemaking, but just I think wine growing. There's such a big lesson to be learned that you're not in control. Mother Nature is in control, and our brains are programmed, right, to always feel like we're in control, or we don't like to be not in control. And when you go outside and you farm and you basically release yourself to whatever's happening, it's a really that's what I love about it so much. It's a really powerful reminder that you're not in control outside. Like you can have a say, you can have a vote, you can do what you can, but 80% of it is out of your control. And
you're not in control, and you're not really that necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. You can think you're important, but you're really not.
You're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wine is life.
I have another question. What's your favorite Grateful Dead song?
Oh, I see. I don't know. I don't really know. This is kind of our biggest issue, you and I.
You mean you can't pick through all the ones?
There's
so many?
So many that I love. Just love. You know that one.
That one. Logan's sitting over here. She's going, none.
It's just not my deal.
Yet.
I like a solid hook. Like I like a chorus.
Yeah.
I need a chorus in my life.
Yeah. Well, I think it should
What's your favorite Pink song? He's like, which one?
What is it? I know it. I know the answer.
That one.
It's that one that.
Look how sunburned I am. Oh my God, I have to start wearing sunscreen.
Yeah, I thought you learned that lesson. So, how's the vineyard looking out there right now?
Absolutely beautiful.
Doesn't that make you feel good?
It does. It's very humbling. It was, there was a moment where when everything shut down, and there was no crew, there was no one on the property, and the pruning wasn't finished, so I finished it myself, which was it was so great for me to have that much time.
That's your block floor right there. I took that when I was there the other day.
Yay. And so, it looked completely neglected and wild, and it's never been more beautiful to me. The earth, watching those dolphins swimming in the Venice canals and watching the fact that you can see mountains that people have never seen from the city before, it's wildly beautiful. But I do need to get somebody in there to mow some cover crops because I'm not that good with a mower. I will take down a pole.
It's a lot of work, I know. But we're starting to see some flowering, which is exciting, in our Pinot Noir, right? And this is kind of the time of the year where we do. It's been so windy though this past 10 days. It's kind of miserable.
Yeah, it's rough sometimes in the afternoon.
Yeah, totally.
It's rough for my boy because he has such bad allergies. I'm like, you want to go check the vineyard with me? And his eyes are just swollen shut. I'm like, never mind.
Do you sing to your vines, Alecia? Do you sing to your vines?
I sing around them. I don't sing to them, per se. But I sing while I'm amongst them.
Yeah. I know that,
We should talk about the farming experiment that went wrong. That was your idea on Block 4.
You want to?
So Chad in 2015, or was it? I think it was 2016, actually. Major drought going on in California, and the vines just really stressed, doing their best, hanging on by a knot. And Chad's like, you should do I know what you should do for your farming experiment this year. You should do a yield experiment in Block 4. Now Block 4 is my baby, one of my babies. And it's very tightly spaced, not a lot of yield, not a lot of grapes, not any I would love to waste. And it's Cab Sauv. He's like, you should farm, this side of the vineyard to 6 tons an acre, and then this side to 3 tons an acre. And I was like, that's brilliant. Let's do it. So we did it. Come to find out, the vines had another idea because of the drought and the timing. I ended up getting 2 tons to the acre on the 6-ton section and 0.7 tons to the acre on the 3-ton side. So pretty much filled up a barrel. I was like, ooh.
What you would normally get like 5 or 6 barrels, you got 1 barrel?
Yeah, 2 maybe, but I had to break it down for topping. So thank you.
Was the wine really good?
It's great. So good.
I think it's a great experiment, just perhaps the wrong time to do it.
Yeah, we'll try again, but not on that block.
Block 4 is still one of your favorite blocks.
So, okay, so we make a carbonic Graciano, right? So we've done it 2 years in a row now that we know it's Graciano. And the first year we picked ripe because it stalled. It wouldn't go. It just stopped. And, we thought, oh, this might be a little early, but we're going to try carbonic, so we'll see, blah, blah, blah. And the yields were they weren't that low. The last year, we were like, let's see if we cut the yields back, what that does, and let it ripen a tiny bit more. It's a completely different beast. It's not the same wine. It's completely different. So now that we know that, even though it's great, I love it, it's still a fun wine to drink. Yeah. We're going back to the way that it was. But it's so interesting what 4 days and a ton to an acre can make. It's such a difference.
That is cool. Yeah, Jesse just piped in and wants to know, what does carbonic mean?
Oh,
our girl
carbonic. Hi, Jesse. Carbonic is basically, you don't crush or anything. It's whole cluster. You put it in a tank, you close it up, and the fermentation starts by enzyme inside of each tiny little berry. So it's not yeast. We don't inoculate anything anyway, so it's always native ferment, but it's just a tiny bit different, and the fermentation happens inside each little tiny berry because none of it's crushed. And so it's still on the stems, and fully carbonic is where you would take it off the juice off the bottom, send it over the top. We don't do that. We close it up, we leave it for 21 days, fingers crossed, see what happens, walk away, and don't look at it. I know some people that do that for 3 and 4 years in amphora clay, which is, I can't. I'm way too controlling for that. So 21 days, and then we send it to press, and it's usually anywhere from 3 to 7 bricks to go to be dry, and finishes in neutral barrel. And it's my favorite description comes from you as well when you first drank it, and you said, "Wow, it's like drinking a crunchy berry." I was like, "That's exactly what it is." It's such a fun wine, and it's fun to make.
Yeah. I love it too. It's really cool too with Graziano too, because it has so much to give. It has like that tannin, that grip, that kind of darkness to it. That's really fun.
It can be a meaty beast, but the way we make it is completely different. And I'm pretty happy about it. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for your question.
What's the block 4 going into right now? What's the block 4 going into? Is it going into just the estate Cabernet, or are you doing a separate bottling?
It has, but we're doing a separate bottling at this point.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because it's really special.
But
I'll tell you what, my Syrah is trying to court me away from my Cabernet Franc right now.
Ooh, I was just going to mention Cabernet Franc. But can we talk about Cab Franc real quick?
Cab Franc is my spirit animal.
Why is that?
I think year 2, I just fell. Year 1, I didn't really understand it. Petit Verdot kind of, seduced me first. And then year 2, Cab Franc, I was like, what is this? And how do I get my hands on standalone Cab Francs? I want to taste every standalone Cab Franc in the world. And that's when I started researching like Clos Rougeard and how can I go on a Cab Franc run through France. I just fell in love. And then, early on talking to Matt Dees about Cab Franc, there's no one more fun to talk about Cab Franc with than Matt Dees.
Oh,
like the way he describes it is,
totally.
I don't even attempt it, but the green, it's like a green monster, but not really. And the way that we approach our vineyard and our wines is much more restrained than usual. And we usually pick on the early side. as opposed to really ripe, and we try to make really balanced, elegant, drinkable wines that you can drink during the day and not need a nap after, or that don't strip the enamel off your teeth. Even though there's a place for those wines. I love those wines, but I don't know, Cab Franc is so special, and it's so special when it's done right, and it's so different everywhere it's grown.
Yeah. I remember also Matt has always said, like, not every year is a great year for Cab Franc, but when there is that great year for Cab Franc, then he goes into that description. You know?
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think every year is a good year for Cab Franc. I think it's just different. It just depends on the mood you're in.
Ooh. Yeah, you're so open-minded. I like that. What about Syrah? Let's talk about Syrah. Syrah's is that the first bottling you have right there? Is the Syrah?
Second
year?
Yeah, this will be the first to come out. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I love Syrah. I've always loved Syrah. I started with the sort of Australian Shiraz, right? Like just big things I won't say because your daughter's sitting next to you. But I actually really prefer, I love funky wines. I love wines that taste of where they're from. I love a wine where you can taste the actual grape it came from. And Syrah's just so sexy.
Yeah.
And especially not, maybe not the big meaty ones, more cool climate, more like your style and hopefully my style, but there's so many fantastic Syrahs.
Yeah, there are. I mean, I am obviously super committed and loving cold climate Syrah myself. But I also love what you've done out there with your Syrah planting. Do you want to talk about that, or do you not want to talk about that?
I can talk about that.
Well, I think that what Alecia has done out there is super cool and interesting. Instead of using the traditional white grape to interplant with Syrah being Viognier, she's chosen to use Malvasia Bianca, which I think is magical. And this, instead of like that Viognier lifted, pretty kind of potpourri stuff, it's more of like this kind of orange rind, orange spicy, lifted citrus, different style, and it works so well with Syrah.
And it also ripens it ripens at the same time.
Yeah,
magically too. So, and every year is different for us. The first year we had 10% Malvasia come in with the Syrah, and last year we had about maybe 5%. I prefer the more, but I can't control that either. But I just love it. I don't want to say it's more masculine because it still has that lift that the Viognier gives it, but it's just the energy. It feels so alive, and it's just moody. I like moodiness, and it's moody, and I love it. Yeah. Thanks for that, Chad Melville.
It's not surprising that you love moody so much, I must say.
Somebody just said, Lucy, do you grape stomp? I do, occasionally when it calls for it and I can't see all the spiders on top. Because spiders are not my jam.
Yeah, that's true. But you're wearing boots, though, right? I mean,
I'm wearing sanitized boots.
Yes, you are. So let's see, there's a couple more questions here.
What's your desert island wine, Chad Melville, aside from Two Wolves?
Oh, can it be a varietal? Or does that be a wine?
Both. I'll give you both.
If it's desert island, I mean, I don't know if I could go forever without having red. I love white. My first reaction to that was Riesling. But I think I might, as much as I love Syrah, I think I might go with Pinot Noir. Yeah, because it goes well with coconuts. It goes well with fish. Wait, are we talking about like a tropical desert island, or are we talking about like the desert, like Mojave Desert?
I asked my friend this last week, and he was like, "Is there a refrigerator? Because I'm not drinking hot wine." I was like, "Oh, there's an ocean."
I need more information.
I know, all you wine people do.
What about you? What are you going with?
I don't know. It's too many. I'm going with a case.
If you're going with whatever's open.
I couldn't survive on a desert island with one bottle of wine. Like that's like an hour of my life.
I could just see you
What do you do after
finishing off
that?
that bottle too, being pissed off that there wasn't any more.
I'd be making coconut wine.
Oh, hey, it ferments. It's got sugar.
I always say Chav, but the thing about wine is there's so many wines out there I'm dying to taste and that I don't even know about yet. Like that's what's so fun about traveling all over the world. Yeah. You go, when we were in Germany, I was like, I want to go to a wine bar and I want to taste local Rieslings. I went to Switzerland and Switzerland makes so much wine, but they don't export. Yeah. No one in America has ever tasted any of it. And some of it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's I went to Jerusalem and had, I think it's Yarden, a bottle of Yarden, that Carrie actually stole from me and drank on his birthday without telling me. But there's so many wines that we don't even know about yet. And that's what's so much fun.
Totally. And what's cool too is obviously you do a ton of traveling, and when you go into these places, just about every place has a wine culture, whether it's good wine or not. That's you can debate that, or great wine or not. I don't know, but it's so great to learn how all these places all have their own wine culture.
Yeah.
I love that part of it. What's your next place to go visit? Not on tour, but like...
Oh, there's so many places. I want to go to Chile and Argentina. I want to go to... I've never been to Burgundy. Champagne.
Alsace.
I'd love to go to Germany. And Austria. I pretty much everywhere. And everywhere where I've already been, I want to go back.
Totally. It's so fun, isn't it? Was Bordeaux the first place that you did go visit as far as a wine tour or wine?
I think Australia was the first place I started wine tasting. I think Hunter Valley, McLaren Vale. I remember going to D'Arenberg way like 15, 16 years ago and learning about their Lucky Lizard wine. That was another thing that made me fall in love too, is I remember being at D'Arenberg and they have this hopper that was custom made so the lizards could get out, so they wouldn't get crushed. And as an animal lover, I was like, what? You can do that? And they called that wine the Lucky Lizard. And I was like, I love you guys. And the Dead Arm Shiraz and why it's called that. And
the Laughing Magpie.
Yeah, so that was one of the first places. And then I'd say Bordeaux was second.
Yeah.
And then Carrie and I would come up to Los Olivos and run the gamut down the street, down this way and then up this way. But we would always start at this end of the town and end at this end of the town. So all of these wine tasting boutiques would think we were really reserved and elegant people. And then we'd come to the end and they'd be like, you're back. I'd be like, what up? We'd be wasted. Like, I like this place. We should move here.
That's so funny. Mary just jumped on. She says, yo.
Hi, Mary.
What's the, I kind of, wasn't your first kind of real, like, light bulb of wine for you to go off? Was it Chateauneuf-du-Pape?
It was. I thought Chateauneuf-du-Pape was a producer, not a region.
Well, you've come a long way.
Thank you. I actually took a train. I had a couple of days off. I was in Paris, and I took a train to Avignon. And I was looking for Chateauneuf. I was looking for the producer that makes Chateauneuf-du-Pape. And I went into this house that said Chateauneuf-du-Pape on it. And I walked into this house. And this lady with rollers in her hair spoke no English, came out. And I was like, je voudrais une bouteille du vin rouge Chateauneuf-du-Pape, s'il vous plaît. And she was like looking at me like I'm being robbed. Like in hindsight, I get it because I walked into somebody's kitchen, like a French lady's kitchen, and she gave me like a half-open bottle of Chateauneuf and like another bottle, and I gave her like, I don't know, 40, 60 euros or whatever. And I realized I had just walked into a woman's house and demanded her red wine,
Yeah.
and that I wasn't even in the right part of France. I don't know. It was, but you know what? I got what I was looking for. Got my wine.
I've never heard that story. That is so funny. We're going to have to talk about that later. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was not hilarious to her, but
Yeah, I actually, thinking about it, I feel sorry for her. I wonder what she thought after you left. She was probably
she's like, I don't know. The
stupid American
chanteuse
sitting in my
pink.
kitchen.
That bitch is nuts.
But what was it a wine that brought you there in the first place? Like you had a light bulb and said,
Oh
I
yeah.
need to go there.
That was the first. Chateau de Beaucastel was the first. I think it was Beaucastel. It seems like the people I was drinking with, that would be the one they would. It wouldn't have been Clos du Caillou. That was later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and I was like, what? This isn't wine. Like, this doesn't taste like my vodka Red Bull. And I fell in love. I was like, wait, this is not Manischewitz. And then I
That's
just,
so funny.
you go ding, 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 ding. And you're like, wait, yeah.
That's hilarious. I love that. I just learned something new. I never heard that part of the story.
See?
What's so funny? I got Logan over here just making fun of me the whole time.
Oh, here, you can answer that. Favorite cheesecake to have with wine, Chad?
I don't know. Maybe Parmesan cheesecake. What do you think?
I don't know. If you have my Semillon, it might go lovely with just a classic New York cheesecake. Sauv Blanc with a key lime cheesecake.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. I think you're right. That sounds good. You know that kind of
What would you
liminess
put? Like,
there?
what would you put with pumpkin? I would do a pumpkin cheesecake for Thanksgiving and drink it with my Petit Verdot, probably.
Yeah, or Syrah even. Yeah, that
Or
sounds
Petit
good.
Verdot.
Yeah, or Petit Verdot. Totally. So some people want to know like where you ship to. I guess you just got to get on Alicia's mailing list and go to her website. Is that the best way to go to Wolves Wine?
It is, and we're doing our best to. I'm so happy that people want to try the wine, and I'm so happy that it's winemakers to first-time wine drinkers, and we're doing our best to get it in everybody's hands. But there just isn't very much of it, so please be patient with us because we have 2 children each, and we're very tired. I have a 3-year-old, and he's eating all the grapes every harvest.
But you are doing a little bit of wholesale too, right? You got it in a couple restaurants here and there, correct?
We're in a couple of restaurants. Not that that matters right now.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, cool. So anything else? Oh, look, Logan, you just jumped on. Logan
Hey,
says,
Lolo. Logan, ask me something. Ask me why I'm such a good dancer. Ask me where I get my moves.
Yeah, where do you get your moves? From Rihanna and Justine?
Yeah, I get my moves from Reina.
So, well, listen.
Thank you for having me, Chad Melville. Thank you for being my friend and my mentor and for being such an all-around awesome human being that I love.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me pour for you.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
Thank
a real
you.
friend that lets a complete novice come in and talk about their wines. That was fun.
It was super fun. I really appreciate you too, Alecia, and thank you for joining here. It's been super fun. I can't wait to actually give you a big ass hug.
Gloves and mask, please. Gloves and mask.
One of these days soon, hopefully.
I can't wait till we can all play Tetris with all of our bodies again.
Yes. Well, have a great weekend
Thank
and
you.
stay safe and we'll talk soon.
Thanks for the wine.
Thank you.
You could go on my website and buy some if you like. So
I will. Goodbye.
bye.